So look, they're putting it in front of your faces now. Who's gonna pay attention? We've got one state out of all of our states that are finally becoming the first state to ban chemicals linked to low IQ in food. Other articles reading, state to ban foods with ingredients linked to ADHD and cancer in schools. Don't suppose you're gonna see this anywhere else, so let's get you some very important information coming right up. My name is Cohen here at Riverside Homestead, and if you're brand new here, welcome. If you guys are into prepping tips, emergency preparedness, and most of all, news and awareness, stuff that you want to know about, be sure to hit that notification bell so you guys can stay up to date. Let's jump into this one. Sorry for the bad lighting, but I am up here at an off-grid location, and I came across this article and I was like, this is just too good to be true. So I don't have all my cool camera gear to make this look nice and pretty, but I got a gorgeous background. But check this out. This is exactly what we're talking about when people have their head in the sand. It will get put out there right in front of their faces, good information, and guess what? Nothing changes. So I had to stop what I was doing just to share this with you. A couple different articles that I want to review to you. One being from dailymail.com. Now you got to remember, all of the states in the United States, and this stuff is supposedly on the verge of becoming proven that it's bad for us. And you've got one state, which doesn't have the greatest reputation to begin with, stepping up to the plate to ban this stuff. And again, while this is being proven to be bad for people and continues to get served into school systems, people should be in outrage. MSN.com, story by Luke Andrews, senior health reporter for dailymail.com. Headline reads, California becomes first state to ban food chemicals linked to low IQ. If you're like me, you're wondering why there is so many ignorant people out there. I know I'm not the only one. Another article just a few days before that from Daily Mail, California could become the first state to ban foods with ingredients linked to ADHD and cancer in schools. How many in this group are aware of chemicals in foods? Put it down in the comments, aware or not aware. I've been sharing on this for a while now, and I have to be very careful with it too, if you guys know what I mean. So with that, help this video out a like and consider subscribing if you like to stay up to date on this type of stuff. And for those of you that think that you're already subscribed, you might want to double check that, because people have been secretly, mysteriously getting unsubscribed and having to resubscribe. Cheetos, Sun Chips, and some raisins could soon become things of the past in California's public schools. Like I said, when news in California has fallen short in all other areas, they seem to be in front of the parade on this one. State lawmakers have passed a first-in-the-nation bill that would ban schools from serving foods containing 6 artificial ingredients that have been linked to low IQ, behavioral problems, and cancer. Like I said, some of us already know about this, but this is actually hitting the press. The question is, how many people will pay attention and make a difference? So what ingredients are these, you might ask? It outlaws foods containing the additives red dye number 40, yellow dye number 5, yellow dye number 6, blue dye number 1, blue dye number 6, and green dye number 3. If you're wondering just a handful of foods that could contain something like that, check this out. So in this photo, you can see you got Lucky Charms, Cheetos, Captain Crunch, Sun-Maid yogurt raisins, Gatorade, Kool-Aid, Jell-O, and Sun Chips, if I didn't say that already. Processed foods, folks, you got to pay attention. So I know you're thinking California can't be the only one. There are a couple other states that are projecting this. As you can see in the red, California, labeled outlawed. The other 3 states, Illinois, Pennsylvania, and New York, are in yellow, which is proposed. Now, you've heard people refer to foods as UPFs, which means ultra processed foods. And even right here, it says the ingredients that could be banned are prevalent in ultra processed foods, UPFs, and have been associated with a host of medical issues. So you know what they say when people play with fire, chances of getting burnt, pretty good. Let me give you guys a little bit more information on these color additives, because they're in a lot of foods. Red 40 as well as yellow 5 and yellow 6 contain benzidine, a human and animal carcinogen permitted in low. You know what that means, guys? It means that a lot of this bad stuff can go into the foods just as long as it's a certain amount. And that's where we get into a lot of food recalls, because they find out that there's actually a lot more permitted carcinogenic than is allowed. Why have these chemical additives? Well, it makes the food taste better, look better, and cheaper. That's what my personal conclusions are anyway. Anyway, when it's permitted in low, thought to be safe levels in dyes can be found in products including Sour Patch Kids, Lucky Charms. Yeah, where's the FDA during all this? According to the FDA, ingestion of free benzidine raises the cancer risk to just under the concern threshold, or 1 cancer case per 1 million people. When I hear stuff like that, hard for me to believe. I know you guys are gonna wanna know what some of this red 40, dye number 1 and 6, what foods may contain those most, but real quick, I actually found a little clip that was buried from Fox News where they talk about this, and I always like to share how the media puts it out there. So let's take a quick look.
Yeah, maybe not in California. It's a snack attack. The Golden State is cracking down on flaming hot Cheetos, Twinkies, and other snacks after state lawmakers voted to ban chemicals used in them from school lunchrooms. Backers of this bill claim the dyes in those products can cause neurobehavioral problems in some children like ADHD, but industry opponents dispute reports about its damage to people's health.
So coming straight out of the gate, the snack attack. They almost make it sound like a joke, but if this truly is an issue that's causing a lot of issues in people, I would say eventually dumbs down a society. For other reasons, I bet make a lot of sense. Now, also remember, a lot of these low-income folks, which is becoming more and more these days, they have subsidized food payment systems, and they can only buy certain things. And I'll tell you what, everything on the shopping list that they can get, well, let's just say they don't get to go down to the mom and pop shop or the local farmer or the farmers markets to spend their money.
All right, we'll come back to that. Jillian, I've heard for a while, like I think it's red number 5, that some of these dyes are bad. I've got friends who won't let their kids have them. Doctors recommended. Is it kind of odd that this is the first time we've heard something like legislation being passed for it?
No, because I think, like we were talking about in the break, like at most everything that we eat and put in our bodies in this country is like trash. And so this is a continuation of that. I'm not like too particular. I'm not like a huge health nut or anything, but I first heard about it's the red and the yellow dyes that are really bad, and they're in everything, not just food. They're in like go look in your bathroom. They're in all the products in your bathroom, especially kids' products. They are, there have been large-scale studies now that have shown that kids who ingest certain quantities of this stuff into their body end up having emotional, behavioral, neurological problems as a result. Some of them are like short-term, like, you know, maybe the kid freaks out for an hour. Others are longer-term. There also have carcinogens in them, which cause cancer. It's a very big problem. I don't think you can say like taking Cheetos out of our diet is going to solve the problem. It's like in Europe, they have these chemicals are banned. They're not allowed to be sold.
We've went over that too. You guys want to know some of the stuff that is actually banned over in European countries? I'll leave a video at the end of this video, also pinned comment, if you guys want to learn more about that. But yeah, other countries ban it, yet the United States running hard with it.
Europe, they have these chemicals are banned. They're not allowed to be sold. I don't know when we're going to do something about it here. Maybe this will be the first step. But I do think it's an important step to get it out of the food chain, out of the supply here of everything that goes into our bodies.
What do you guys think? Because this is kind of a sticky scenario where we're in the land of the free. We get to make our own choices, decide to put whatever we want in our bodies, et cetera, et cetera. But should companies be allowed to chintz down the quality process of how food is given to everybody? And ironically, it's dumbing people down, supposedly lowering IQs. So what? This can continue to happen? More people not paying attention? The easier it can get to make this stuff with artificial stuff, with everybody's eyes closed, head in the sand. And then the controversy and skepticism comes into play where trying to dumb down a society so they're more controllable. We won't get into that, but at hand, we have bad stuff in our foods that you need to be aware of, and it should definitely not be being served to children. So back to this article, consumers can find red 40 in cake icings. I'm telling you, heavy in cake icings. While those who love baked treats like Twinkies will take a dose of yellow 5. Yellow 6, meanwhile, can be found in sugary breakfast cereals, including Captain Crunch. Look on near all of them. Pay attention to the brand names because there's a couple I'm not going to mention right out of the gate, but you will quickly discover that there's certain brands that have it in everything. Red 40 and Yellow 5 have also both been linked to hyperactivity in children, raising concerns they may affect learning and cognitive function and in turn IQ. How smart do we want our kids? Blue dye number 1 and 6 have both been linked to hyperactivity in children as well as allergic reactions. The story continues to say some studies also suggest blue dye number 1 may cause cancer or damage to organs at high doses. Well, what is a high dose when it comes in everything? That's what people are asking. House Democrat Jesse Gabriel, who led the California's first in-nation ban on other food additives earlier this year, said California has a responsibility to protect our students from chemicals that harm children and that can interfere with their ability to learn. Ironically, I'd have to agree with that. He also goes on to say, as a lawmaker, a parent, and someone who struggled with ADHD, I find it unacceptable that we allow schools to serve foods with additives that are linked to neurobehavioral harms. Look, folks, please share this video out. More people need to know what's really going on. It goes on to talk about the bill and break down the votes. Brian Ronholm, Director of Food Policy and Consumer Reports, said, dangerous dyes that put kids at higher risk, hyperactivity, and other neurobehavioral issues that get in the way of learning should not be allowed in foods sold in schools. In addition, banning these harmful dyes from school foods will protect the health and well-being of kids in California. Here in this picture, you can see risky additives lurking in Americans' foods. You guys might want to take a snapshot of this because this is kind of like a little bit of a cheat sheet. You got potassium bromate and a couple things. You got, I'm not even gonna read these. It looks like I'm gonna get myself in trouble reading some of these names because I'm probably not gonna be able to pronounce them. A couple more important things you should know. It would screen out foods containing the additives as well as those where more than 35% of their total weight comes from sugars. Do research on sugars, folks. I know it's a hard thing to kick, but it is an angry little monster that feeds bad stuff in your system. You could be a lot healthier if you cut down sugars. The ingredients targeted in California's bill are more strictly regulated in the EU, with several banned in some countries. Further down, it affects about 12,000 products and is expected to come into force in January 2027, folks. That is a ways out. Make your changes and switch today. Don't wait till 2027 for this to come into effect. We all should be paying attention. With companies facing fines up to $10,000 if they are found to be manufacturing, distributing, or selling the products with those ingredients in the state. So check this out. Don't have to do anything till 2027. You're gonna get fined if you have some of this stuff in the food, $10,000. Reminder, we've been eating this stuff for how long? Why just now? We got to fix some things that I'm sure some of this stuff has created problems in us. So be extra healthy. Pay extra attention. Experts say that the ban has potential to change recipes and products nationwide because of the size of California market at 40 million people or 10% of the US population. Okay, I'll slow the roll there. You guys are informed of what's going on, what's in the foods, and what is banned in at least one state now, projected 3 more, for reasons we all should be aware of. We're just scratching the surface. Keep digging. Find out more information on this if you guys want to dig a little deeper. And again, I'll leave a couple videos right here if that struck a chord and you wanted to learn more. Got a lot more coming down the pipe, folks. Keep prepping, keep learning, keep doing. We'll see you on the next one.